All right. Welcome to Ukrainian Dynamics 365 and Power Platform User Group Meetup. Here we discuss different technical topics related to Microsoft Dynamics 365 applications, both CRM and ERP, Power Platform, and related technology stacks. Before we start, I want to thank our community leaders, Elizabeth Akinfeeva, Maksym Martynov, and Valentin Gasenko for their contribution to community development. Please note that we are recording this event, and the video you can find later on our YouTube channel. And with that, let me share my screen and quickly show you the agenda for today. As today we have slightly unique meetup. Just bear with me. All right. So today is our November meetup, and the agenda is unique for our meetup. This time around, we tried to do something different. So what we'll discuss today, first of all, we will start with Release Wave 2023 updates. Of course, those are the ones that were hot off the press just a month ago. And we realized we're a little bit late, but still wanted to highlight a couple of important updates that we believe worth attention. And after that, we will switch to enhanced data model and new LM processes for Power Page Insights. There will be a demo by Valentin, and we'll have a look at this. And after that, we have a special guest, Nataliia Kryvoruchko, who will share her experience on how to switch to Power Platform Consultant in 6 months, which is really interesting to hear. So that's basically the agenda for today. And at the end, if we have time, of course, we will have an open discussion. But without further ado, let's start with the first thing, and that's Release Wave 2023 updates. So let me share the other screen with you. And this time around, I'm not going to share any kind of presentation, but I will go straight to Microsoft Release Planner. I thought it was really a good idea to highlight once again that Microsoft has created a powerful website called Release Planner that you can find at releaseplans.microsoft.com. And this is basically the master tracker for all feature updates for both Dynamics 365 and Power Platform. And I highly advise to those who want to be on top of what is there coming in the next release wave to actually sign into this website and use it to your advantage, because it's not just something that like a white paper that you can find on learn.microsoft.com, but it has quite a few useful functionalities. Like, first of all, you can actually slice and dice and see by specific technologies and specific systems that you are interested in. For example, finance, I would choose, this is Dynamics 365 for finance, and I can see all the planned and coming soon and try now features that are on the radar by Microsoft. But in addition to that, what you can see here on top, that I can actually see 2 different modes. So I can see all release plans, and then I can actually bookmark those features that are interested to me. And that's the one, those are the ones that I want to focus on today. Just a few of those, of course, not all of them, but of course, Microsoft is putting a lot of effort into refining and adding new features to existing functionalities and rolling out new functionalities. But what I want to focus today is a couple of functionalities that are personally interesting to me. So as of Release Wave 2023, H2, we have a couple of features, and let's start with the one for finance. This one is called Business Performance Planning for Dynamics 365. And if I expand this view here, and if I click learn more, we will see a little bit more information. I hope you can see it because it's shown as a pop-up on my screen. Can someone note, because I don't see, or tell me that, yes, you can see business performance planning for Dynamics 365 pop-up window?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. So yeah, the one thing really interesting about this one is that what I observed is something really cool, because Microsoft is, of course, Microsoft is pushing towards the unification of both Dynamics 365 and Power Platform platforms. No pun intended, but and the thing, it's called One Dynamics One Platform, right? But what we can see here is basically a model-driven app based on Power Platform, and that's actually a hybrid because it's a combination of a model-driven app plus a Power BI interface and ability to edit as in Excel. And that's what Microsoft actually says when they released this feature and explained that this will be an experience for the users using Power BI and Excel user experience. So that's again, no pun intended, but still, that's something really unique that never seen before. And we have another functionality called related to performance metrics and reports that Microsoft has built in Power Platform, and then you can use to your advantage for the record-to-report business case scenarios. But this one is slightly different, and I'm curious really what it's going to be. So this is one on my personal list for lookout to see what that experience will bring, because if that's exactly how it will behave at the end, that will be super exciting, because finally it is a solid justification for us, for consultants, for those who implement Dynamics, to actually push the idea of Power Platform to those who embrace the power of Excel, right? Because you always get challenged by the clients. Hey, but I can do this in Excel much faster, right? So I'm curious, and I'm looking forward to seeing that. So that's one is that is the one that I have on my list personally. I'm really excited about this one, and as far as the plan says today, it's going to be in public preview in November. I have not seen it yet, but probably around the corner with the next update. And then we will have general availability in December, which means this is not a raw feature. So something that Microsoft is confident in. We'll see. So another one that is, of course, exciting as well, Copilot. We've heard a lot about AI and Copilot from Microsoft and many other companies that embrace the power of AI. So, of course, use generative AI in business performance analysis for administrative tasks. We need to see how it works, how it unfolds with Dynamics 365. So we'll see. As for finance and operations, cross-app capabilities, the other one, another one actually related to One Dynamics One Platform category. And this one is interesting to me personally, because I'm right now working on the project where we implement dual write in tight connection between Power Platform and Dynamics 365 for finance and operations. And that's about asynchronous operation support for dual write. And that is super, super interesting to see how it's going to unfold and how it's going to work, because that basically gives us a lot of flexibility in terms of the scenarios and potential architecture designs of how these two systems can work together. Because today, dual write is only in synchronous mode. You cannot plan it. You cannot, do it asynchronous and stuff like that. So really excited to see what this will bring. And again, this is planned for December 2023, so it's quite around the corner in public preview. We'll see what's there. And the last but not the least, for the supply chain management application, again, Copilot and AI innovation. And this one is called Make Better Purchasing Decisions and Procure-to-Pay Processes with the help of Copilot. And there is actually a video on YouTube that Microsoft has posted about this. I'm not going to show it. For those who are interested, you can absolutely find it easily. But again, overall, the pitch of this year, I think, is the AI, the power of AI and Copilot theme by Microsoft is it's basically the priority, I think, from their perspective. But I personally remember my own excitement about AI and even a little bit of hesitation and uncertainty about what it will bring, right? When ChatGPT and OpenAI had released their internal AI engine to the public, and my thoughts were, will we lose actually our jobs, or will the AI be so powerful that it will somehow put a strain on us? And as it turns out, with the time, that yeah, AI can do some stuff, but also in order to use it, you need to you need to create a proper request. So you need to craft it in a proper way. You need to ask the right things, and it's a skill of its own. So it's not like at this point, at least, it's not like AI is gonna replace us. But I'm really curious to see what Microsoft can bring with the power of AI and Dynamics 365, because there are many things that you can, of course, simplify and improve when it comes to complex systems like Dynamics 365 and Power Platform. So that's basically it on my end about interesting updates in the next release wave that I wanted to highlight. Of course, that's not the full list. Please don't treat it as that's it. No, there is much more. Those are just the ones that I'm personally interested in. And as you can see, I added them to my personal release plans, and I'm keeping an open eye on this. So with that being said, I'm gonna pass over the presentation flow to Max. Max, the floor is yours.
Yes, thanks a lot. But I guess my list will be not bigger than yours. So basically, like this year, you can definitely call it a Copilot year, the year of AI, and most, or I would say mostly all changes for the Power Platforms, the Dataverse comes to the Copilot, how to work with AI, some generative things. So I try to pick up something more unique, more interesting, especially from the consultancy, from the developer side. And the biggest change comes to the Bootstrap version 5 for the Power Pages. It's the first and the only update basically for the styling libraries of the Power Pages for last 5 years or so. So basically, starting from the January of the next year, we should get the Bootstrap 5 as a default for our new environments. Currently, it comes to the preview. It means that any new Power Pages will be based on the Bootstrap 5 template from the next year. For those of you who are currently on a Bootstrap 3, there our portal tool, Web Platform CLI, was updated with a new command that basically gives you a way how you can transform. I would rather call it transform, not migrate. Transform your old Bootstrap version 3 to version 5 files. And basically, it comes to get your current version, run the migration tool, and makes a review of what was changed. So in short, this tool just make Control F for the full folder and replace one tag by the other. So if you have something custom, or if you have used some custom templates and you have some violation of the free standard, most likely you will need to rewrite everything from scratch. But overall, that nice improvements, especially as now we have Power Automate flows in preview for direct communication from the Power Pages. So looks like starting from the next year, we should have a lot more capabilities to develop with the Power Pages. The next part comes to the most important personally for me. It's an ability to track and store Cloudflow execution history inside of Dataverse. So basically, it's currently in the preview. Hopefully, it's like no plans right now when it will be in the public, but we will be able to track all of your cloud flows directly from the Dataverse. And it means that you can make the reporting easily. You can connect, of course, the Power BI to have a more view of what's going on. You can see what is failing, how is failing, what's the execution time, and do all of that from the same app. So it means no need for you to go directly for some specific flow, or even more to write specific functionality to log the execution time. So it should simplify a lot the development efforts for small, not like full-fledged scale development clients, as less management required for the cloud flows. Same for the cloud flows. Now the admins, like not really now, from the March of the next year, but at least it's planned that admins should have full capabilities to manage the floats. It means that they should be able to reassign, to delete, to update all the flows, especially for the users that have left the company. So now there's no need basically for you to recreate the flows of developers that already left. You can just easily move it from one person to another. And the last one comes to the Power Platform pipelines, Power Pipelines. And looks like Microsoft decided to move it from those POC state to MVP state, and we should have the separate user interface for management of the pipelines directly from the Maker portal, to be more exact, from the admin part of the Maker portal. But basically, and hopefully, it should make us a little bit easily to deploy and manage the stuff. And beside of it, that's all. So I would assume that Valentin going to take up the stage, probably.
Yeah, sure. Thanks a lot, guys. A lot of updates. Nice to have. Let me quickly share my screen. Can you see it?
All good?
Yeah, okay. Hey, everyone. My name is Valentin Gasenko. I'm a Power Platform developer at Logic Apps company, and today I will briefly talk to you about the latest interesting update for Power Pages. Starting this fall, Microsoft introduced a new data model for Power Pages portal and call it Enhanced Data Model. Let's take a brief look at what this model is, what its pros and cons are, and how it differs from what we had before. As we know, Power Pages are based on configurations stored in ADX tables. However, transfer them to another environment is not easy because there are configurations, because there are data, not solution components. Those having a more or less clear LM process for Dataverse, the developers were constantly puzzling over how best to migrate the portal configuration. Some choose the manual way, used PowerShell. Some used a nice toolkit via XRM Toolbox. Some messed around with LM Accelerator. But 2 years ago, along with the existing Power Pages CLI, the new upload download portal SIMD-lets were released, which were later used in Azure DevOps pipelines and which de facto became a best practice. For a while, everyone was okay with this process and this approach. Yeah, there was still inconvenience that the Dataverse component had to exist in a separate repository, and there had to be a separate ALM process for them. And the portal components had to use their own ALM, but everyone was more or less reconciled to this. Now, Microsoft says you don't need to use third-party tools or some separate CLI steps. The whole process will be implemented through old school solutions, and the portal will be just one component of your solution. Now, all new Power Pages portal will be created exactly with the new data model, though not for all templates yet. The most interesting part is what happens under the hood. The enhanced data model is the combination of system tables, non-configuration tables, and virtual tables. The Power Pages virtual tables represent and contain the metadata of the specific website components. They point to the system tables that contains the website metadata in JSON format. Such a complex scheme is necessary to support backwards compatibility. Let me give you a little demonstration. So here is our portal. Just a vanilla permit application template, just a vanilla portal. Nothing has been changed. What's under the hood? Right now, it looks like this one. I would like to draw your attention to the fact that now, instead of the usual portal management model-driven app, we have a separate model-driven for our needs, Power Pages management. All these tables, web files, basic forms, content snippets, etc., all of these tables are virtual, just for backward compatibility. However, there are some differences. For example, now in order to upload a web file, you don't need to attach it as an annotation. You have to upload it in a separate file content field. Yeah, it will contain under the hood like a base 64 format. Just for your information, it looks something like this one. If you want to use web API call, this value is our web file. In fact, this web file is just one of dozens of component views that have a unified format and can be pushed into a solution. So as you see, we have live entity site components, and we have a lot of component type. That's what we have. And of course, as a result, we will end up with a solution that will weigh dozens of megabytes if it has quite a lot of, for example, web files, pictures, and other attachments. And of course, since all these components will be embedded in the solution, importing such a solution can take, honestly, a lot of time. This is inevitable since now it is not a configuration data, but customization. Those we can give a comparison table, something like this one. So enhanced data model, it's a new best practice for us. Standard data model, so what we have for now. And also Microsoft in December or January, I think maximum January, will introduce new mechanism for convert standard data model to enhanced data model. Let's see. That's all from my side.
Okay, thank you, Valentin. Hopefully it's a positive change, because it's not quite clear if it's so positive change or not. But from your personal perspective, is it the right move, or could it be done better?
Yeah, still we have some issues, but yeah, let's see.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Valentin, for this presentation. So now let's get to our guest today. And allow me to welcome once again Nataliia Kryvoruchko. And Nataliia
Hello.
is, welcome, Nataliia. So Nataliia, you switched to Power Platform role in 6 months, and that's pretty exciting. And I have a couple of questions lined up for you. We are curious to learn what was your experience. So let's start with the basic one. Would you please tell about yourself and yeah, basically share how what forced you actually to get to that position, and please share this experience with us.
By education, I am a mechanical design engineer, and most of the time I work in my specialty. But recently I changed my occupation, and for a month, almost a month, now I have been working as a power platform consultant at Kyivstar Tech.
Okay. That's interesting. So do you find it that your past experience or skills that you obtained in the past really help you in the current role that you work with Power Platform? And if so, what are the skills that really got you in front of the so to speak, not in front, but that you took advantage of to get the job?
I believe that you critical and logical thinking, which I have learned at university yet. Because when you are working with Power Platform, it's very important to understand the core of task, analyze possible method of solutions, and be able to choose the most optimal one. Also, you need to be attentive to detail. For example, I recently created adaptive card for our chatbot, and I forgot at submit button. And when my coworkers tested it, it was very funny as she put her data in this card, and she wait when chatbot will ask her the next question or something else, but nothing happened, and it was a little bit awkward for me. So yes, you have to pay attention to small things.
Yeah, but that's okay. You are still learning, right? And that's why we have SDLC, software development lifecycle, when you develop and then you need to test it. So it's good that you managed to get it captured before it got into production, because that's where the fun stuff begins, right? So all right. So beyond that, what other challenges did you encounter when you actually switch careers, and how did you overcome them?
Part was exactly decide to change careers. As you know, everything new is scary. Besides, nowadays, many people say that IT field is overloaded. But I think Power Platform, it's not typical IT. It's no low-code platform which has huge ability to rapidly create powerful solution what meets today's needs. So I'm sure it will only will get more and more popular in the future, and I will not be out of work in 5 years and not be replaced by ChatGPT or some AI.
Yeah, hope for the same here. But yeah, that's spot on. I think the understanding that there is a lot of new stuff out there, and not to be really scared and do not disregard the new technologies. I think it's really important nowadays. since it's absolutely easy to switch gears, to change your career, and your experience is a good example. And there are many other people that are still thinking about whether they are ready to make a move or not. And I think you actually said it right. So it's you need to be up to the challenge, and you need to realize that it's to your advantage, and not to be afraid and just get into it. But of course, you need to know where to start, and therefore there is my question then. What actually helped you, and what resources, trainings, or courses that you used when you were getting ready for the switch and learning Power Platform? So what was your personal experience with that, and what really helped you to get there? Can you share it?
Yes, sure. Microsoft Learn is one love. It's a treasure trove for a beginner, maybe not just for a beginner. This is kind of Wikipedia in the world powered platform. There are a lot of convenient separate paths to study a particular topic with examples, with practical tasks. Also, various of YouTube channels. For example, I like Shane Young's channel. He is fun and create short but detailed videos. And of course, when you face some issue, some error which you don't know how to solve, in this case, community forums can help you. By the way, the first week on my work, I didn't left these forums. Yeah, it was very useful for me.
Okay. Thank you for sharing. And of course, from what I understood, all of the content that you actually used and absorbed to get ready, it's a free content, right? So basically, it's available on the internet. You just need to find time and passion, and get to it, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, thank you for sharing this. Now, maybe. Really interesting question. I know that you just started your career working with Power Platform, but still, for those people who are not aware of what it is, what excites you about it, and then what engages you into actually doing this stuff and creating new applications and whatnot within the Power Platform, and how do you find it in comparison to your previous job and what you used to do in the past? So is it something that you really like, it motivates you, it drives you, or it pisses you off, or something like this, and you're just getting through it? So please share your experience in particular.
What attracts me to Power Platform, its ability to empower users to build reliable solutions, and also integration of all of tools of Power Platform, like such as Power Up, Power Automate, etc. There provides a comprehensive ecosystem, so you don't need to look for certain tools to solve your problem. And I think it's really cool that you have all what you need in one place. So it's very useful, and it's really interesting because there's a lot of instruments which you can learn and use in your apps, in your future solutions. So yes, I think Power Platform is really cool and really interesting, and I have already learned it for more than 6 months, and I believe I don't know when I can say that I know all science, maybe it's impossible.
Yeah, there is a saying in well, there is my saying, because I don't know, I haven't heard it anywhere, but this is what I constantly say. You won't find a person that knows it all. When it comes to dynamics and Power Platform, it's impossible, because there is so much stuff in it, and the platform constantly evolves, thanks to Microsoft and thanks to the community and all the business customers and users who use the system, because they also push the boundaries and the expectations from the platform and its capabilities. So yeah, if you're going to be the first person who would know it all, I would love to know you in person, because I would be proud of that. So but absolutely, I wish you all the good luck there. And a few more questions on that. So what would be your advice to anyone who is still thinking about whether to start with Power Platform and low-code, no-code development? What would you advise? Let's put it this way. What would be your advice to yourself 6 months ago when you were starting this, or thinking to start it or not?
Yes, you definitely should start. And my advice is practice as more as possible. Take advantages of all the free described subscriptions Microsoft offers. And not only watching videos or read manuals, but also when you have learned something new, put this on the practice. Also, a good way is to create your own tasks, because it will be more interesting and more useful. For example, when I have learned to create model-driven apps, I imagine that I have my own bookstore and created model-driven apps for my bookstore. So yes, it was more interesting than just repeat some YouTube video or something else. And also, good practice will be to take part of some
Hackathon?
I forgot the word. Yes, in some part of yes, like hackathon. Yeah, because it's a very good experience for a beginner. It doesn't matter you will win or not. It's a good experience, and you can be noticed by some HR, for example, and you can get useful connection with interesting people in this sphere.
Okay, thanks for sharing. Yeah, that's a good idea. Of course, to get together with community, collaborate, right, and get to know each other. And hackathon, I think is a good example. If you don't have your own idea like you came up with, which is really cool, that you had your own idea that you worked around and tried to solve a problem. Whereas hackathon is something a little bit more challenging, right? So it's when a couple of smart people got together and think about the challenging task that need to be accomplished. So interesting. Thank you for sharing this. And the last one on my end, do you have already ideas or aspirations, or not where, but whom you want to become in the future, now that you started your journey with Power Platform? So what is your aspiration and career?
I would like to become a Power Platform developer, but yes, but I'm not sure when it happened. I not look for a lot of. I don't see in the future, but I will not stop in my learning. I will continue my developing in this sphere, and I hope in the future just become a strong and more strong specialist in this sphere.
Okay, and we only wish you good luck there, and of course, only a lot of positive experience when working with Power Platform and the Microsoft ecosystem, and successful projects, stuff delivered on time, on budget, happy customers, all of that. So good luck, Natalia. Thank you for sharing this with us today.
Thank you.
And I think that was it for the agenda today, at least for what we had planned before. And now we can open this meeting for an open discussion to share ideas, thoughts, and maybe ask some more questions and whatnot. So feel free, anyone, to chime in. Of course, there is. Yeah, go ahead, Max.
Now, I was going to say the same. So that looks like no one, and we can wrap up fast today.
Yeah, but I would like to ask a few more questions, if you don't mind. Yeah, I think it will be interesting because now we have Natalia, who just started her career, and it just gave me her story just gave me memories of what was happening with me and how I started my career with Microsoft. So no need to elaborate deeply on this, but I'm curious, Valentin, Max, let's start with you, if you don't mind. How would you describe your experience back then when you started with Microsoft Dynamics CRM? I think it was not Power Platform, right? It was CRM.
Yeah. No, I would say like the basic part would be funny how I basically started at all with Dynamics part. So I was like basically switching from one job to another. And on the interview, I was switching as a .NET developer from .NET project full stack to .NET project full stack. And there should be a small bite of Dynamics CRM somewhere behind the scenes. Max, never mind, don't pay attention to that. It just as a service. You're going to consume it. So everything is good. Like, you don't need any knowledge about it. Like, you will be a .NET developer. Everything is good. So basically, right on the next week, we are having a small, let's say, internal party. Basically, our client arrived from the States, and we were gathering to some bar. So our team lead, there was like two of us who applied to this position, and for some reason, later on we understand why. For some reason, company decided to hire both of us to upgrade the team to 3-person with a team lead. So on this party, our team lead just reached us with a big glass of whiskey. Okay, hey guys, you're going to work with Dynamics CRM. And by the way, I'm going to be fired in a week. Bye. So that was like basically start of my journey. And it was a client, one of the biggest real estate one. And they was migrating from the CRM4 to CRM11 or something like that. And it was, I would say, the best experience ever that I got. So I would say I was quite lucky enough to get to the team who was passionate about building the performance best practice environments, best ELM processes, with best CI/CD, with best governance, best performance, best integration. And for last, like the first half a year, it was a nightmare, especially for a guy who switched from the .NET to Dynamics. As let's say for Natalia, now she has Microsoft.Loan. Or she can use some Pluralsight guidance. She can buy the pack subscription. She can just open the YouTube and type Power Platform how to do this or that. But like 8-10 years ago, There was
Yeah.
2-3 MVPs who was trying to publish something, and honestly, they were not really aware about like what they're publishing. So Microsoft just gave them some information marketing part, and they was just trying to popularize this thing. So that's how it started. Then I figured out that like your pay rate would be a little bit more higher than for the .NET developers, so it was better motivation than all the enthusiasm part and all the stuff, because as you know, like till CRM 2016, before there was a second rebranding, there was not really something interesting in that platform. Let's be honest. So the interesting part started from the whole rebranding when they decided that it's Dynamics 365, when they introduced some AI capabilities, when they moved to the cloud, because like all of my clients till 2016, version 2016, not the year 2016, was on-premise. So I was a SQL developer / Dynamic CRM rather than Dynamic CRM, because whenever they want some data manipulation, what best practice to not trigger and to not work from the database directly? Never mind. Let's make the update for 5 million records in one go directly in production. Backups for the noobs. So that was my start, and I see Valentin hand, so let him be the next one.
That's 100%. That's a true story about on-premise. I entered Dynamics in 2016 from the world of C# and MS SQL. At first, I started with CRM 2011 on-premise. I had to maintain the database, create reports. Then I was asked to write some small consoles application. Then please, maybe you can create some short plugins, etc., etc., etc. That's how I slowly got involved. Yeah, in general, I spent many years with on-premise before entering the cloud world of CRM. So I still have bad habits of using SQL wherever I can.
Valentin, I will interrupt you. You just basically like pops up like Vietnam flashbacks for me. So console applications, and then most clients somewhere saw that like you can use WPF to have a nice UI on the Windows apps, and you can use like what it was named Win, like the basic WPF, the like was middleware. Win API, WinP, something like that. I guess that was the worst ever part of any like CRM developer life in those years. Like console application, okay, good, but when you need to map it to the UI part and like your first time ever working with the threads. But I guess now it's helping us with the JavaScript and all the parts. We already know that like one thread and you can lock everything.
Thanks for sharing, guys. That's really interesting. So I hope it will inspire Nataliia and the rest of the people who are interested in switching their gears and career. But I think overall,
back in time.
Well, no, no, it's absolutely not about that. But I think it's still a gem, right? Because you are here with us guys today, and you did not live it, and I think it says a lot, right? So despite yeah, that's on one side, right? But on the other side, it's always fun. You will never get bored because all the tasks and all the assignments, there could be repetitive now and then, but you always have those clients and customers that come up with sometimes really sophisticated and funny requirements that you need to scratch your head and really figure out how to do it. And today I think it's completely different world, right? Today we have really huge community built by Microsoft professionals and so on and so forth. We have Microsoft Learn, a huge resource with a lot of information. We have those communities out there, those forums that you can engage with and ask for questions. But 10 years ago, it was not even close, right? You had a couple of resources, a couple of nerds who were just as nerd as you are, and that's basically it. And you didn't know where to go, and you just have to sit down and try to figure out what to do with it, how it works, and many things were just as black box, right? So you just didn't know how it works. It works somehow, like this common joke on the internet. I did something and it worked, and I'm surprised. And I did something and it didn't work, and I'm surprised. So yeah, it was like this. All right. Anyone on this meeting, on this call, as we have now an open discussion and we have a couple of more minutes, so anyone else who wants to share their experience, how they actually got into this dynamics business, so to speak. No pressure. No volunteers. Then I will finish with my own story, little one. I already shared it at one point when we had an interview meetup earlier this year, but I'll just recap. But actually, I started as an engineer for a company in small town called Bila Cerkva, and I worked with 1C. It's an accounting system, right back then, and I started with understanding of the accounting processes and how to do the books and taxation and all of this stuff, and balance sheets and all that stuff. So basically, I have that background and started with 1C, and at the same time with local software that was called, and I don't know if it's called this way, Meetup it was called. So it's just for the reporting to the authorities on on the VAT invoices and whatnot. So anyway, and spent a couple of years with that, and also with electronic keys, electronic signatures. I don't know how to call it, but anyway, it was a long time ago. And I realized it was interesting on one hand. On the other hand, it was not so promising. And then I was put in front of a guy who told me that, hey, do you want it to be do you want to work with soft produced by Microsoft? And I was like, hell yeah, because it's Microsoft, right? I work with a software that is produced by some unknown company, and well, not unknown, right? But it's known in CIS region basically. And there is that Microsoft software, and I realized it was interesting on surface, and then I said yes. And then I was thrown into a project as a financial consultant, even though I was learning the system on the go, into implementation project for a company in Ukraine, and they were implementing Dynamics X 2009. And I remember my wide open eyes when I look at the interface of the system for the first time, and I was like, what? What am I supposed to do with it? So many buttons, so many things, I don't know. And it was really crazy, and I'm really thankful for the support of my architect back then, Sergey. Sergey, if you watch this, hello, thank you for everything that you did for me. But basically, it was I had a couple of books, not physical ones, but printouts produced by an architect guy from Microsoft, and I was just reading all of them to try to understand what's going on in the system and how to work with it. And I remember those were funny days where your work day don't even finish at 6 p.m. for a few years. So you get back home and you continue to learn the system and really to understand what's going on there, because it was an implementation project and the client was supposed to go live quite soon. So I better get my hands around it. So yeah, it was really challenging, but it was absolutely rewarding. And if I were to ask myself, would I still do the same stuff if I had a chance back then, right? Would I still do the same? I would say absolutely yes. Even though it was challenging, even though it was stressing a lot, it is still rewarding. And yeah, so that was sort of my experience, and it's still going on. even though I met people from time to time that ask me or friends and ex-colleagues, and they ask me, do you still in dynamics? I'm like, yeah. Why do you ask? Like, it's yeah. So anyway, I hope it was some inspiration to Nataliia and anyone else who are interested in switching their career and start with Dynamics and Power Platform. It might sound nerdy on the surface, and you might not fully understand what we talked about and what Max said and Valentin and me, but from our experience, this is something really unique and absolutely worth your time and effort. And this is definitely something that will get you going for a long period of time, because Microsoft is pushing a lot of effort into this platform, into the ecosystem, and obviously there is much more stuff coming in. Yeah, I think everybody should at least give it a try if you are thinking about switching your career. And join our community, of course. So on that positive note, I want to thank everyone for joining us today and sharing all the news and information. The YouTube video will be soon available of this recording. And thank you once again. Keep an open eye and look forward to our new announcements and potentially new interesting topics and guests in the future meetups. And thank you. Have a great end of the day and see you soon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot. Have a nice evening. Bye.
Thank you.